Welcome, everybody, to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. If you want to check out one of Comedy Pop-Up's live shows, January 26th, we'll be at Echoes on Pico. That is our Mid-City LA show. And then February 3rd, we'll be at the Lyric Hyperion Theater in Silver Lake. For more information on those dates, please check out our website, comedypopupla.com. And please follow us on social media at Comedy Pop-Up. Now let's start the show.
Podcast where we don't small talk at all. Comedy Pop-Up Podcast where we don't small talk at all. I'm your host, comedian Ron G. Hey, what's up, party people? This is comedian Ron G, and welcome to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Today we have an awesome show with two of my comedy buddies I'm very excited about, man. I'm really happy y'all here, man. I get a chance to have, because we see each other at work, but we never get a chance to talk. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you and I, but Jason,
I invite you over, but you know.
I know, it's my fault. I dropped the ball again. So listen, with that being said, I want to introduce this first guy, man. I'm very proud of him. He's actually from Long Beach. He's done a lot of cool stuff. He was on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and he was on Live at Gotham. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Jason Collins.
Nice.
And you on time with the button, dude. Paul, I'm proud of you, man. Got it. Normally it'd be like a long, awkward pause, and then he'll press the button.
You forgot BET Comic View.
And he was on Comic View.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Jason Collins.
And they canceled it after they showed my episode, so it was
Absolutely.
perfect.
Think about the people that did Def Jam. Think about the people that just did Def Jam.
Oh, man.
Did they cancel that?
Bro,
Done.
They did?
it's done.
Oh, whoa.
They're never airing again. All right, cool. And that being said, I want to introduce this guy.
So they didn't take my submission.
Nah. I've actually known him, I think, since I've been out in LA, man. This dude's been doing this thing. We actually was doing colleges together a long time ago as well. He was on a show called Jerks with Cameras, Mr. Box Office.
Mr. Box Office, fucking.
I know,
forgot
right?
that credit.
And Disaster Date. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Geoff Keith.
Same crowd.
Same crowd. The exact same crowd.
What's Mr. Box Office?
Dude, forget that.
John Lovett show. What network was it on?
It's one of Byron's shows, so
Byron Allen?
don't
Yeah.
mention any of that shit.
Oh, got it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They were
never
not
heard
worried about quality. They just wanted to get like 100 episodes out so he can get residual.
Content.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because my friend Bill Bellamy was on it. Alex Thomas was on it.
Yeah.
And I think Tony Roberts too.
Bill Bellamy's probably the nicest human being I've ever met in show
And
business.
the coolest human. Like he's always in.
Yep.
Yo, what's up, y'all? We in the building. I'm like,
Dude,
like,
this
we're
is-
here. Like that's just how he talks on a regular basis.
You know what's so funny is I
He's
worked
in
with
VJ
Bill,
mode.
I worked with that guy a long time ago, like for 1 week, and he was always really cool to me and everything. And then when I did Mr. Box Office, I probably hadn't seen Bill in like 6 years.
Yeah.
And John Lovitz, I see all the time. I used to do his club. I'd see him at the Comedy Magic Club.
Yeah.
And every time I see John, he's like, hello. And I'm like, hello, like, hi, Geoff. Like, I know you, or I know your face, or it's like he's always acting like he doesn't know
You
me.
got to start over.
Bill hadn't seen me in like 6 years, came up at the table read, gave me a hug. He was like, dude, when I saw your name on the call sheet, I was so excited. I was like, this guy's like the most genuine, nicest person ever.
I just
He's a
saw
good
him
dude.
doing that, what is it, college finals game. He's so cool, man. I went on tour with him. My first actually TV spot was a show he did called Bill Bellamy's Who's Got Jokes.
Oh, like TV1, yeah.
So he's like big bro to me.
That's when you were the R&B comic.
I was. I still got it in me. I got moves now. When you get older, you just have moves. When you're young.
You don't know
Yeah.
Rami did the R&B stuff.
Oh yeah, the joke was dope. if you're listening, people, make sure you go to YouTube and Google Ron G R&B comedian. It's pretty awesome. Beautiful. It's one of my first jokes that like put me on the map. But I was gonna say this, man. So one thing I remember when you and I first met, we were doing a lot of colleges. Jason, you can chime in. Do you do a lot of colleges as well?
Do not.
Did you ever do colleges?
I've done it a few times.
I feel like you have grown man content, so it'll be like above an 18-year-old head.
Well, I'm pretty immature for my age. But,
Yeah.
And the times that I did
But your
it,
subject matter. It's like
the times that I did it, it was great.
Yeah.
And they said we want you back, but you know I'm typecast as a 47-year-old. Oh wait a minute, I am a 47-year-old.
Now, do you think it's because like did you do like spot dates at colleges, or did you do like the NACA thing?
No, I never did the NACA.
Okay, yeah, because I know him and I did NACA, and like one thing I hated about doing colleges was the nooner shows.
Oh yeah,
Well-
some of them are okay though. If they do every college show I walked into, some it depends on how the school set it up.
Yeah.
because I've done noon shows that sucked. Like you're in just an open area, kids are eating and doing their homework.
Cafeteria, and they only came for free pizza.
Yeah.
Like, is that dude doing comedy?
But then I've done noon shows where they set it up and they're like, oh, there's a thing we do. And it was
Yeah.
like a cool crowd. It was in a cool room.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of the nighttime shows stink. When I would go to a college, this
What was like your worst college experience?
I had a couple, but when I would go to a college, say this real quick. When I go to a college, if I saw if it just said my name and like from MTV's Disaster Day, that show was always good.
Yeah.
Whether it was in like a cafe that had 50 people in it, it was packed.
Yeah.
Or it was a theater, it would have like 300 people and it was packed. But if I showed up on any campus that just said comedian tonight, 8 p.m. in the whatever room, that show was always the weird.
It was trash.
Who's showing up to that show? Like the weirdest kids on campus would show up to that show. I had a couple. You ever do a show with no mic? I did a couple shows with no mic.
In the hallway. And I got shushed by a professor next to the stage.
Yeah.
It was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I've done that. And then, but they tell you to try and fix the mic first. Like I flew out to South Carolina to fix equipment. I was in South Carolina. They go, hey, the mic's not working. Can you fix it? And I go, I just hold him and talk into him.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll try.
Do you remember what school it was?
USC Upstate, I think.
That is hysterical.
Yeah. And they had me back. But it was...
they owed you one.
Did you fix it?
No, I don't know if I can fix the mic. I stood near it for a while and I'm like, all right.
He tapped it.
Yeah.
You had to do it a cappella?
And then they literally said, okay, start then. I go, I can't fix it. I turn around, I go, I can't fix it. And they go, just start then. That was like the intro.
I've had moments like that. My worst was I had a show at a school in upstate New York, man. And like, that was back, remember we had the GPS that you could rent?
Yeah.
I had one of those and like the school was not on that. And so I'm riding on a dirt road and I finally got to the school and you can tell like all the hood kids from New York City came to this school and they was just sitting there waiting like, bro, where you been at?
Yeah.
And I started performing and the microphone went out. As the microphone went out, there was a rat that ran across the floor. And I'm sitting here like, it was some school in upstate, some SUNY school, and I'm sitting here pissed off like, can y'all fix the white mic while I'm trying to struggle and talk to 100 kids? And then the rat ran. And I was like, look, can I just get my check? I'm ready to go. I'm over. I'm over this whole.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did like another 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm good. I'm stressing my voice out, and a rat ran across the floor, and I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore.
At that point, you're like, this isn't on me.
This ain't on me.
This is your guys'
But
deal.
to be on stage and like they know the microphone doesn't work and they sit there instead of fixing it while you have no microphone in your hand, that drives me nuts. Like you're watching me struggle and you're going to tell the administrator that I didn't do my job or whatever.
Yeah, they have no idea though.
And they're not invested either. College students, they're not invested in any. I've gotten some of the worst intros I've ever had in my entire life from a college student. Oof. Hey, this guy, shoot, okay, can somebody get my paper real quick? Hey, this guy, he's coming up and Ron G, everybody. Like, if they say your name before they start talking, that means it's going to be a terrible intro.
That's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Your name should be the last thing that's said.
So, Ron G's coming up in a minute, and Ron G did some things. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen,
Jason Collins is coming up in a few. He's going to entertain us. It's going to be really great, guys. So,
Jason Collins.
Jason Collins, when they say your name first, it's going to be a terrible show, man.
I like it when the college student will go, I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do like 5 minutes up front of announcements. 5 minutes is always 28 seconds. It's always just,
I'm going to warm them up.
Yeah, so we're watching a movie Thursday in the whatever center, and you guys want to sign up on the Facebook page? Who's ready for your entertainment? I'm like, where was that going to be 5 minutes?
Right,
we had two or three things to say.
You would think they would find somebody on campus, maybe in the theater program or something that might
That would make way too much sense.
Might want to be involved in this and say, if you guys need a host, I'll host it and make it.
Yeah,
no, they always.
That's how it got strong, because college shows, you don't have an opener. You just cold turkey. They came for free pizza and get to it. And I'm performing like in the middle of Iowa with kids I have nothing in common with, and I had to figure it out.
I did University of West Florida, and everybody got free Popeyes chicken. That show was fucking packed.
West Florida?
I opened for Popeyes chicken, basically.
Popeyes headline that show.
And the thing that's funny is they always got Popeyes, and I guess there's some mix-up with the Popeyes, the local Popeyes, so they had to get Churches that day. And
You're lying.
There were people yelling out like, hey, this is Churches.
Oh,
and
no.
Why are you performing?
And I'm just like,
my
still
fault.
good though, right? They're like, still good though.
Right. You got an apron and tongs on, so party people, make some noise. That's so cool, man. Jason, you've had one cool thing about both of you guys are LA guys, and it's for me being from the East Coast and doing comedy, I feel like it's a different kind of hustle, like, because most LA comics to me are lazy, the ones that come up in LA, but you two are an exception, especially you, Jason. I see you all the time. Like, I know you would do a Long Beach and in Hollywood Laugh Factory like it's nothing. Like,
I'm doing that tonight.
right. And that drive is like not easy, but what made it different to where you guys like hustle so hard? Because again, like most of the LA comics I know that are from here, I guess you grew up around these lights and stuff. It's like, it's not a thing. But for me, I got excited and I used to see like the billboard and the marquee, you know?
See, I grew up down in Long Beach, and even though it's a 25-minute drive from Hollywood, it's it's its own world. It's a
it's
small
nothing like
town.
LA. Yeah.
Yeah. And the hustle for me is I started at an older age, and I thought that I was going to be dead.
What do you mean?
Well, I started comedy at 35. And the reason I got into comedy is I've always wanted to do it, but I had kids young, and I opened a business, so I had to put food on the table and all that stuff for the kids. But my father was in the entertainment industry, and I just always.
What did he do? If you don't mind me asking?
He was a musician.
Cool.
He had a hit in the &70s and toured all over and all that stuff. And,
Jesse's girl.
That's the one. That's '80s. But yeah, I don't know. and I just had the bug to do it. So, but I was, one of the things that we would do when we turned 18 was we would drive up and go to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And go to the Improv and watch comedy. And I was always into it. Then my father got sick. And when my dad got sick, and my dad passed away like a month after I started doing stand-up.
Oh, man. Yeah. I read about that.
But you really you start questioning mortality. And then I started thinking, when am I going to die? Stuff like that. I don't have those thoughts anymore.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's traumatic. Yeah.
But it lit a fire under my eyes.
I still think about when you're going to die.
Yeah, do you? you and my wife.
$6 on Tuesday.
But I just had this sense of urgency. I was like, I got to get this done. And I ran a small business for years, and I was heavily into martial arts and
What'd you study?
I did Kempo karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Oh, so cool. Yeah.
Almost 30 years I did that. My brother and I had 7 schools at one point under our organization.
So you're like a trained killer, but nobody knows it.
Nobody knows it. But there's a lot of discipline that goes in that.
Absolutely.
And the only way you get better at doing that is to just keep doing it and keep doing it.
And fail.
Keep doing it and fail.
And fail.
Right. So I just had that martial arts discipline behind me going into martial arts. And then a buddy of mine, helped me get into the game. He's, you guys obviously know Joe Coy. Joe Coy and I have known each other for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was always hanging out with him and going to his shows and telling him, I want to do this. This is something I want to do. And then he met my dad. One night he calls me. He says, I got a show at Irvine Improv. And he knows that Long Beach is between here and there. And he said, you want to come? And I go, yeah. He goes, I'll pick you up. And I go, pick me up at my dad's house. I'm here. He goes, okay, yeah. And my dad wanted to meet Joe because he was an entertainer. And
absolutely.
Many other entertainers.
Yeah.
So Joe came over to pick me up. I went in the other room to get ready. And he had a conversation with my dad. To this day, I still don't know exactly what the conversation was. But once we got in the car, we're sitting in this car. And before he starts the car, he goes, do you really want to do stand-up comedy? And I said, yeah, I tell you all the time I want to do it. And for the first time, really serious, he says, then stop being a pussy and do it, or your father may never see you do it. He may never have the opportunity to see you do it.
Jeez. The pressure.
And I didn't think of it that way until that moment. And the next day, I went to a comedy club, lied my way into comedy.
Yeah.
I BS'd my way into comedy.
Yeah.
I've never done an open mic.
Yeah.
Ever? Ever.
Because you actually came up fast. I remember when I first saw you, and then after that, you took off. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I'm only in my 12th year.
Yeah.
Yeah. July was 11 years for me.
You started in when?
06.
Yeah. I moved here in 05. So I feel like I met you right around the time I moved here. But you came up real fast.
Started in 2006 and went to the Ha Ha Cafe.
Yeah.
Asked for the owner of the club. I thought that's how you did it.
Jack.
Yep.
Buddy.
Jack comes up to me and he said, I dropped Joe's name. I said, Joe Coy and John Lovitz.
Yeah, they sent me up here.
Because the night before I met John Lovitz, I got to tell you that story, by the way.
Jason
when I met
goes,
John
I am the
Lovitz.
talent for this evening.
Yeah. Basically, I said, Joe Coy, John Lovitz, and Fraser Smith was the other, as I met those two guys last night.
Right.
The night before, told me to come here and that you give me stage time. And Jack says, well, how long have you been doing stand-up? I said, 5 years. I'd never done stand-up before in my life.
That's hilarious.
And and Jack goes, and Joe told you to come. I said, yeah. He goes, come tomorrow, you're on the show.
Jeez.
And I left. That next day, I called my brother in the morning. I said, we got to write.
Did you have an anxiety attack?
No.
No?
Nothing.
Wait, how much time did you have to do on your first show then?
15 minutes.
You did?
On your first show ever?
First show ever. I called my brother. I said, we need to write some jokes. I'm doing stand-up tonight.
Yeah.
And then I decided to just wing it. I didn't write any jokes.
You wouldn't remember anyway. The first time, you would never remember that.
And the way I taught classes, because when you teach a large group of people, all under the age of 8, keeping their attention for an entire hour. That is a muscle that commanding a room. I had that muscle.
It's like doing college shows.
Right. So I showed up the next night. I get there. The guy running the room says, all right, you're going third, which you guys know that's the sweet spot. He goes, you're going third. You do 15 minutes. I'll light you at 12. And I was like, all right. I had no idea what he meant.
Jason can't stop lying. He's like, I usually get my light at 13.
That's the thing. I didn't know what he meant by that.
Yeah.
Use a soft light, please. Soft light.
I didn't know what he meant by that. But I didn't want anybody to know that I was full of shit.
Jason selling merch after his first show.
So I said, all right.
Where do I set up merch?
Where do I set my merch table up?
Selling Eddie Murphy CDs at his comedy show.
So what did you do when you saw the light? You didn't know what it meant?
Well, what the light was that night was a guy waving his cell phone. At me.
Yeah.
And I thought, why is this dude waving his phone at me? I was getting mad. And then the dumb thing in my head was, do I have a phone call? You know what I mean? Like, why is he waving his? Then I realized, oh, that's what he meant by the light, and it's time to wrap it up, and I wrapped it up. And I got off stage, and Jack said, "Come back tomorrow. You're on the show tomorrow." And I've been doing stand up every.
So I guess that means it went good.
It went good.
Yeah. That is outstanding. I wish I had that same experience.
You know, everyone's story is different.
Yeah. What about you? How was your first time?
After his first set, the whole audience knew karate.
Yeah. That's right.
Great job, Master Collins.
And I retired. I made them stand and bow after my set.
The only reason I think that I worked hard is because I didn't know how to be a comedian, and then I did like my first show. I did like 2 shows or something in a month, and I was like, sweet. And I thought, like, I'm a comedian. I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Did 12 minutes total this month.
It is being done.
Yeah.
12 minutes in a month. Yeah.
I didn't even realize you're supposed to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And then I went up to the Laugh Factory and like waited on the street or whatever, you know, like because
the Tuesday night thing.
Yeah. And then it's like me, some homeless people, you know what I mean? Some people that like came from another state that have been doing stand up for years. And then I talked to Jamie Masada afterwards, and he was like, yeah, he goes, you're funny. He goes, but how often do you get up? And I was so proud to tell him, I'm like, actually just had my best month. I did 6 shows last month. And I thought he was going to be like, this one guy did 6 shows in a month. Like, I thought he was going to be impressed. And he was like, buddy, he goes, you get up, like all the pros, they get up every single night. And then you try and get up multiple times in a night. And that just never occurred to me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, thank you. And then he's like, yeah, you got to work really hard. So I was like, okay, cool. And then so I went to the restaurant I was working at, and I'm like, I'll work every day shift, but I can no longer work nights.
Yeah.
And then I would drive. I kind of hated Jason's fucking starting in LA story was amazing. I would drive like over 100 miles a night just to do like, I wanted to make sure I did a show every night.
Yeah.
So I would go to like San Bernardino to do some crappy bar show, or I'd go to a coffee shop and, you know.
I did all that.
Yeah.
You have to do all that.
Yeah.
We would do the sports bars and
Everything.
Yeah, well, the TV's on.
Mm-hmm. We did a show.
You hit a punchline. They're like, yeah.
Remember the movie Roadhouse?
Yeah.
Remember how they had a what do you call it? Chicken wire fence around the stage so people could.
Oh, yeah.
I've done shows in bars. Did you
ever do Wild Coyotes?
Yes.
That was like the longest running non-comedy club show. Do you ever do that?
Nah.
Felipe Esparza and Alfred Robles and Martin Moreno used to bring me all the time.
Where was it at?
Montebello.
Okay.
And it was like, it was a lot of fucking, like it was all Mexican, but like some of them didn't speak English and I didn't know that. And every time I went there, half my set sucked and half of it was great.
Right.
And I never knew why. It was either the first half I bombed and all of a sudden I did great the second half, or it would start great and I'm like, oh, I got him. And the second half I just eat shit. And I remember like, I was talking to Alfred and Felipe one time and I go, what is going on? Like I always bomb half my set. And then they were like, fool, half these people don't speak English. I was like,
why am I here?
And I said, I go, why am I here? Why do you guys keep inviting me back to the show? And they go, you're funny, bro. And I'm like, to you
Gringo
guys?
for no reason. Yeah. My name is not Gringo, it's Geoff.
But that was, I mean, I used to do that. You know what's funny? The Latino comics were like the best to me by far. They would bring me to like, I would be doing shows with like Gabriel Iglesias at like Oceans. Martin had a you ever do Oceans?
Damn, yeah.
We would do like that show. And
I have no reference point for any of these places, but I'm excited.
They would bring me to like all these. You ever talk to people that started in like the Midwest? Like John Heffron, I remember told me once, he's like, dude, when I was in college, I started doing stand-up, and he said there were 8 comedy clubs within 60 miles. He's like, so I was funny, so every weekend, I was in college, every weekend, he's like, I was hosting at a comedy club a whole weekend.
That's so cool.
So he's doing comedy club crowds every weekend.
When he first started.
That's so cool, man.
I got put on by Richard Villa. Saw me one night. And then next thing you know, I'm doing, remember Refried Fridays? Every Friday? I'm doing it every Friday. There was a time period where I was either doing a guest spot or emceeing it every Friday.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I started out in Atlanta, and they used to give the crowd a bucket of Nerf balls, and they would give the crowd Nerf balls. And when you are terrible, they would throw them at you.
It's kind of fun, though.
Me and Byron Bowers, man, we started out in Atlanta, man, and if it was silence, and black folks were very impatient, and they would throw Nerf balls. I remember Byron did almost a whole set with a Nerf ball in his eye. I guess he didn't feel it. It was on his eyelash, and it was dangling. I'm like, hilarious. And they've done keys, too.
That's another thing I was going to say. In Atlanta, there's a spot where they like shake their keys at you.
Yeah. They turn the music on. It's like I grew up in comedy in a hostile environment, but I'm better for it now.
Yeah, it makes you better.
I'm fearless. I could care less about what anybody thinks now.
Last year, I did Showtime at the Apollo, and I got booed and a standing ovation at the same set.
That's awesome.
And I think I'm probably the first person to do that. I don't never heard
There's
of that.
some old black woman still like, leave him alone. He's handsome.
Is that real? You did that?
Yeah, wow. I did it. I don't like. They asked me.
You did it just because?
They asked me to do it, and then I was like, maybe I'll get like maybe I'll bomb, and maybe I'll get booed, maybe I'll get like a good tape, and I just wanted to like get like another like clip from TV or whatever. And it's so funny because I didn't know how it was gonna go, and I didn't care if I got booed. Like I wasn't trying to get booed. They definitely put people on that show to get booed though, because I saw producers talking to people before their thing, and they're like, "Hey, so like, what's your game plan? Like, you know, if the crowd starts booing and the Sandman comes out, you know, the Sandman dances out and takes out stage." And no one was talking to me about that because I was one of the people that was supposed to do really well.
Yeah.
And my friend Renee was a writer on the show. She wrote for, I don't know, I still don't understand it, but she wrote for the Sandman. All the guy does is come out and dance and pull people off stage.
Yeah,
But she,
I need you
she
to pop
wrote,
lock, grab the broom, sweep.
That's
twice.
right.
Legit, I'm like,
She's
what
just
are you
writing the actions?
Yeah. So I didn't know how I was gonna go. Steve Harvey like preps the crowd. Not a good way for a comic. Like I think he thinks he's doing a job, but he gave like a 5-minute speech like, hey, he goes, a lot of people got booed on this stage, and he's like, this might be a breakout moment for this comedian. He's like, or this might be a teachable moment for him, right?
Set you up.
So he's like, he's setting you up for the audience. So the audience is like, whatever. So I go out on stage, and some lady yelled out as he said that, like, let's teach him then, right? Before I even get out there. So when he brings me up, I like said something. You have to rub that wood, you know, whatever the tree from whatever. And so I rubbed that. I grab the mic and I go, "Hey guys, give it up." I said something about like give it up for my mom real quick, trying to get something about the teachable thing.
So funny.
Everybody laughed. I'm like, sweet. Like I'm only doing 2 minutes. I was doing like 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something. And so I was like, this is cool because like they're laughing already, which in like a short set like that, you're like, cool, like they don't hate me.
Right.
I do my first joke. I got like the biggest applause break ever. Like I was standing there like mugging during the applause because it was going on for so long.
Okay, I got 2 minutes, people.
During the applause break, the Apollo's like 600 people, and it's a dope room to do comedy. And the acoustics are great. All during the applause break, like halfway through it, I just start hearing boos. And in my head, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is about.
Wow, what is that?
But I got to keep going. So then during my next setup, the boos just keep getting louder and louder from one section.
They was hating.
So I was just like, in my head, honestly, to be perfectly honest, I was like, maybe there's some black people that are like, fuck this white guy. Like, we don't want this white guy to do well. No, it's not though.
Gentrifying the Apollo.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
didn't come here for
I thought
this.
some people were like, I'm not, I'm not gonna let this white guy do
Want our
well.
Apollo back.
Gentrifying the Apollo.
So then I just like during my next setup to my next bit, the boos just keep getting louder and louder from this one section, and then like some other people start going like, oh, are we booing this person? You know, so like a couple of people start booing, but then I do my next bit, people are laughing like it's going really well still, except these boos are like taking over the room from this one section. By the end of my set, you couldn't understand what I was saying. Steve Harvey comes out. Sandman didn't come out, right? Because he was like...
Which is good.
And I found out later that Renee was like... We were back there and Sandman was like, why is anyone booing this guy? Like, this makes no sense. He's doing great. And then Steve Harvey comes out, stands next to me, stares at the audience like, what's wrong with you guys? Then he lectured the audience, but like, why? I don't know why you guys are booing him, blah, blah, blah. He told me, like, you did great. Like, you did your thing. He's
Was
like...
your outfit or something?
No.
Black folks will boo your outfit.
No, watch. My outfit was fucking... I was wearing a dope blue suit.
Okay.
It was not my
You
outfit.
had a suit on?
Yeah, I just wanted to get this TV tape. Like I just wanted like a cool TV tape.
You had a full suit on at the Apollo. Yeah. A white guy looking like an insurance salesman.
Well, that depends on the shade of blue it was.
Yeah, it was
a little shine or sparkle.
It was a kind of a brighter blue suit. It was not, it's not like an insurance
Well,
sales
today's
suit.
Steve
I would
Harvey
never wear it.
blue.
Yeah, right.
Almost.
Me and Steve having the same suit. They boo me. I don't know why.
Yeah. So then he like sends me back through the audience, which means like you did well.
Yeah.
And as he's up there with me, like people start giving me a standing ovation, but there's still this section booing, right? And then so like I'd say
Your friend Renee?
No. I'd honestly say like probably like 20% of the audience gave me a standing ovation. The other people were cheering, and then there was like this booing happening, but I didn't know why. After the show, So he sends me back through, which means you did well, right? If you go off the backstage, if you sucked. So he's like, you did your thing, send me through the audience. And then after the show, I was just confused. I was like, that was so weird. I expected to either do really well or get booed. I didn't expect them both to happen. So they both happen. And then another comic, this is the most messed up thing. This other comic from LA knows I was doing it, and he goes, "Hey man, how'd your set go at the Apollo?" I'm like, it was really weird. I'll like cut and paste you what I sent my wife about what happened, explained what happened. He sends me a screenshot. A guy who I met once in LA, who's a comic, was in the crowd. And Steve Harvey was saying, they taped him introducing me. This guy posted verbatim. This guy thinks I got him banned from clubs in LA, which I never did ever. I never even tried to get anyone banned from anything. This guy posts, this guy who was a dick to me in LA is about to take stage at the Apollo. I'm with 15, 20 of the loudest motherfuckers in here. And if we start booing, it'll ruin his TV set, and the crowd will think oh, we're booing this guy. That's what happened.
Savage.
Yeah.
Savage. Can we call him out right now?
Yes.
The comedian?
Oh,
his name is Luke Ashlock.
I don't know who he is, but
Luke Ashlock is probably selling shoes right now. I've never heard of him.
I don't know.
I would say selling sandwiches.
The thing that's funny is this guy thought that first off, how random is that dude was randomly in the audience?
He introduced
he was
you?
following you, man.
Huh?
He introduced you?
He introduced, what do you mean?
No, he was in the audience and he was
in the
tweeting.
audience. He's the one that started booing with his friends.
I got you, but you said something about he announced that this guy.
He announced online. He announced on
He
online.
posted on Facebook.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like, maybe Steve Harvey let the audience introduce the next person.
No. He knew I was coming up because Steve Harvey, before I ever came out, for like 10 minutes was like saying he's doing your next comedian, Geoff Keith, and all this stuff. And the thing that's funny is then he posted another follow-up thing lying about what happened. Because he, I think in his first post he asked, I have the screenshot, but he asked should I boo him or not? And I think a bunch of people in the comments must have been like, no, why would you do that? It's messed up, or whatever. And then he lied and said
he's fragile.
He's like, he came on stage and he started bombing right away, and I didn't even have to boo him, which is not what happened. Then he said I ran off stage, which none of this. He said I didn't finish my time. It's like, how do you know what my set was supposed to be? I did.
Also,
I did all my
there's
jokes.
video evidence.
Yeah,
of all of this.
Dude, so anyway, the guys are back. This is the only time I ever met this guy. He came up to me at Flappers in LA. I was hosting a show. It wasn't my show.
Yeah.
And he goes, those shows are long. There's like a million comics. And he goes, hey man, I have an audition. I never met him before. He goes, I have an audition early tomorrow morning. Can I get up earlier? And I said, I'll ask around. Sure. I do him a favor, ask the guys next to me, hey, this guy switch you as an early audition? He says, yeah. He goes, all right. So I go, hey man, I got you next. I saved this guy probably an hour, right? Yeah. He goes on stage, starts calling me faggot over and over again.
What?
And he's just a weird guy. And he does like a fake Scottish accent, I think, on stage. So he's
the whole time?
Yeah, he's doing like a character. He does a character on stage or something.
That's so bizarre.
So this guy starts cussing about me on stage.
Like a real life troll.
Yeah, and I just remember being like, I just did this guy a favor. I just met him. I don't even know him. So I was like, whatever. I walk out of the room. I come back in the room. He takes the mic stand when he's done with his set, puts it in the audience on the other side of the stage, walks past me, doesn't say anything to me, doesn't shake my hand, makes me go retrieve the mic from the audience. That was the only time I ever met him. The club, I think, found out that he did that, and then I think Flappers said you can't come back for a while. I don't have control to ban anybody.
You violated him twice?
Right.
Huh?
So that was the second time?
No, this is the only time I met him.
Oh, that's what it happened. Really?
That's why he thinks I got and now he's saying I got him banned. She said I was a dick to him. All I did was a favor. He was a dick to me, and I don't care because I'm like, oh, this guy's a loser.
I feel like I feel like I know who this guy is. And he's kind of off.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, he does stuff like that.
That sounds off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The saddest part of the whole story is that he thinks that Flappers is an LA comedy.
Exactly.
Right.
But he also said I got him banned from clubs. It's like, dude, I don't have
plural from Marty's.
Yeah. But like, dude, I don't have the power to ban
Marty's
anyone
would
from
take
anywhere.
my $5 to let me perform, man.
Yeah.
And Geoff, man.
Even if I wanted to ban somebody, I couldn't, and I would never do that. I was just like, oh, this guy's whatever.
That's
a
freaking
weirdo.
crazy, man.
And this guy's, it's like a Larry David thing, you know? I feel like
but there's no
Larry David.
There's no mental test or like
Man.
interviewing process to become a comedian. So it's we have a lot of crazy coworkers.
This is one of the least respected art forms in entertainment, in my opinion.
It's the hardest.
It's the hardest.
But it's the least respected.
And everybody thinks they can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they can do it.
I don't like telling people I'm a comedian. I just say I'm a writer. I say I'm a writer.
My friends say I'm pretty funny.
Hey, you want to hear a good one? You want to hear a good one? Like, do I really have a choice?
Yeah.
Do I have a choice?
You know what? I'm gonna give you something you can add to your routine.
Yeah. You know what you should talk about is public transportation. That's what you should talk about.
Man.
I'm like, bro, trash, man.
I hate that when I used to audition back when I had a career.
Yeah.
And And they would always go, "Oh, so you do stand up?" And I'd always go, "Yeah, but like for real." Because every actor that goes in goes, "I do mics, do some stand up." It's like, no, man, this is how I make my living is doing stand up.
Right. This is how I eat.
I do stand up to get better at auditioning. I've heard that one a lot.
Right.
Oh yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, my agent said I should be doing stand up, so I'm like, man, get out of here. You in the way. So if listen, man, this is comedian Ron G. We're doing the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast with my man Geoff Keith and Jason Collins, man. We're having a good time talking about our journey. We were actually talking about awkward moments in comedy, which is so funny because I feel like maybe all of us, or maybe just me, most comedians have a TV moment that you're not proud of. You and I did a show called Who Wants to Date a Comedian?
Oh, that's right.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
You did it, right?
I did the pilot.
Oh, it was a pilot. I actually did the real show, and I hope
I did the first episode.
I hope it never airs.
Mine aired. Why?
Yeah.
They don't. No one sees it. It's another one of Byron's shows. No one sees them.
Yeah, I think it comes at like 5 in the morning.
Dude, I've done Comics Unleashed twice, and they air them all the time. Not trying to be funny. I probably got 4 new fans in 11 years from that.
Yeah.
And they air them all all the time.
At 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. No one sees them.
Yeah.
Some pervert.
Yeah, there's always a couple weird people.
Yeah, man. I was looking for my socks and I heard your voice on TV and I think I'm a fan. Like, man,
I don't think
this
I've
is
had
freaking
enough.
weird.
I don't think I've been on television enough to have that awkward moment yet.
Yeah,
It's always been set up nicely.
Yeah, he did a great job on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Wait, did you do One Mic Stand? Is that the BET thing you did?
No, I did
Comic View?
Comic View. The one
The one hosted by Kevin Hart?
No,
That's the one I did.
I did too.
Some more.
Yeah.
They never aired it.
Some
They
more.
didn't air mine.
So that was Atlanta.
I did the one in Atlanta. Yeah.
I did that
Oh.
too, and it never aired.
What I was on episode 2.
Yeah.
and that's the last one that they showed.
Yeah. It's so funny to have like stuff that you've done that never gets TV time.
Yeah.
Because you have all this pending fame and it never happens.
I hosted
Like,
a
"Ooh,
show.
when this drop, when this drop and it get canceled,
on.
I'm like, shoot.
Next level.
That's what I thought. I hosted a show for TBS, and like TBS, when you do a show for them, you're just commercials for the promotion of the show alone. You're on TV nonstop. Like your face is nonstop, and I was like, "This is gonna be so great." And it was a game show type thing, so I'm like, "It's gonna, if it gets picked up, I'm gonna do like all these episodes. Like I'm gonna be on TV all the time. This is gonna like finally I got this thing." And the TBS was like, they told the producers like, "Oh, we just want to hold on to it. We don't know like when we want to release it." And the producer's like, "Nah, screw that. We're gonna take it somewhere else then."
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it never got any.
Hilarious. And one thing I know we've never really talked about this, but one thing I've always respected about you is that you don't have a filter, man. Like legit, like no filter. Because I remember we used to always do the summer show.
That's probably why I'm at where I'm at.
Are you saying
But it's
that
like-
Geoff is on the spectrum? Is that
I'm on the shit.
No, we did the show.
Bro, every time Jason and I carpool anywhere, I mean, it's like we start talking shit immediately.
Immediately.
And we're not trying to.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm not trying to.
It's so funny. We used to do the summer shows at the Improv for the kids.
oh yeah.
those are great.
And then we were like,
Teen
so what can we talk
Spectacular
about?
or-
What can we talk about? And it was like, you can do whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And one time I went up like after you, and I was like, oh my God. Like,
No, but you know what?
you say that to kids?
A lot of those kids sometimes are Jewish kids, like rich Jewish kids
Sometimes.
from back east.
That's all it is every time.
And I remember you went up and Ron was doing all his black pastor material.
Right,
and I'm
right,
like, they were just like, oh,
I don't know, but let me laugh anyway. He's entertaining.
You know what the funniest joke ever I saw at one of those things is Tosh a long time ago was doing one with me, and Tosh goes up and he was like, I've been doing these shows for years. He goes, I remember I did one of these shows once, and then a few years later, just a couple years later, I was doing a college show, and a girl came up to me and was like, hey, I saw you at one of those summer spectacular or teen tour shows in LA, and he was like just talking about it, and he goes, anyways, the point is I fucked that chick that night.
Hilarious.
Oops.
Oops.
That's funny.
That is funny. And I like
I
the
just
fact
yell at those kids. I just yell at them like an angry dad, and they just find it really funny.
that- Of course.
Yeah.
I haven't done one in a while though.
That's how I feel about colleges. Like I have no desire to do colleges anymore because I'm like, I don't want that stress of trying to figure out what can I talk about that they might like.
They're very.
I can pull it off.
They're
I'm
overly
like,
sensitive now.
Right. Right.
I got one thing that said, one of the last colleges I did, they said their name all these things you can't talk about, and they go, nothing anti-Muslim. And I go, can I like shit on every other religion? Like, what are you talking about? Just say like, don't be, you know what I mean? Like, someone says that like, don't be racist. I'm like, I'm not racist in private, so I'm not gonna. It's not like my stage presence is like a persona.
Talk about black people.
Yeah.
Don't show us your true colors in front of the audience.
Yeah.
That is kind of an odd thing to say. Don't talk about. What about all the other?
Yeah, I'm like, so I could just shit on Hindus for an hour, and then you guys be like, cool, you stayed away from the Muslims, so that's fine.
Yeah,
it
man.
made no sense.
Everybody's too sensitive.
Yeah.
I agree, man. College shows are so weird to me. I did a show upstate Pennsylvania, something like that, and it was a kid walking through the lunchroom with a trench coat on. the entire time.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I made a comment on it, and they was like, "Don't talk about him. He's autistic." And I'm like, "How the heck am I supposed to know that?" When I
Yeah.
see a white boy that doesn't blink, walk through a lunchroom with a trench coat on. They got mad at me, and I'm like, "How much? Nobody told me."
Also, stop telling us to not talk about things.
Right.
We're comedians. We're supposed to make fun of everything.
They don't know that. They don't have a reference point for it.
It's like
it's a art.
I was telling Keith, I was watching the Steve Harvey episode of Comedians in Cars. And they were talking about how he did a show and somebody came up to me.
To Steve Harvey?
To Steve Harvey and said, "How dare you talk about drunk driving? My kid was killed in a drunk driving accident." And Steve was like, "First of all, I didn't know you were coming. I didn't know you were here." and then he says, "And then you got to apologize." And Jerry says, "Why? Why you got to apologize?" And Steve's like, "I had a talk show at the time and I got sponsors and
I got 7 shows.
So he goes, had I been a pure comedian," he said, "I would have said, well, you thought that was bad. Come back tomorrow. And by the way, what's your baby's name?"
Right.
Steve Harvey, very tough after the fact.
But it's like don't talk about that guy's trend. Don't talk about the guy because he's autistic.
How are you supposed to know that?
Why not?
I don't know. I'm there by myself, the only black guy in the whole school, and I'm sitting here, dude with a trench coat. I'm like, I just want to make sure he's okay.
But why not talk about it?
College, I don't know. They're super sensitive.
They're so
man.
weird. I had another one said, you can't put, it said something about not talking about other races that aren't yours or something. And I was like,
so don't do stand up.
yeah. And I said,
Right.
no, but my wife is Mexican and Spanish and I have a huge Mexican family
Those
now.
are the same thing, by the way. Speaking of racism,
Spanish is Spain.
I know. I was being racist. You know, my wife's Mexican.
Yeah, that's right.
Or something weird.
So anyways,
Messing up my joke with your facts. Freaking weirdo.
so I said to the lady, I said, "Hey, look," I emailed her. I said, "My wife is Mexican, and I talk about my wife on stage and her family and all this stuff." I go, "Obviously, I love them." I go, is that cool?" And she writes back, I swear, she doesn't realize how stupidly racist she sounds. She goes, "Yeah, that sounds fine because it sounds like when it comes to Mexicans, you're an insider. Like I infiltrated Mexicans," and I'm like, "All right, cool."
I'm going to guarantee that person on the other line was white.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Black people don't use the word insider.
Yeah, white lady.
I'm an insider.
Oh, you know
In
them
the
on a
African American
personal
community.
level.
We don't use the community.
By the
either.
way, Geoff, what's it like?
What's a churro like? I've never had one.
Oh man,
They are delish.
they will. Say
I should have
that.
kept going. By the way, I'm also married to a Muslim, a Sikh, and, married to. I have a
what's it
bunch
like
of
being an
wives.
insider?
I'm the weirdest polygamist you've ever met.
I'm an insider with everybody, so just get ready for a fucking show.
Yeah, Jason, and the cool thing about you too, man, like I feel like you really came up really fast. Like, how long were you doing comedy before you got the Tonight Show?
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years, I think.
And what was that feeling like to do Tonight Show?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That was one of my goals. Now I'm like, I'm okay.
Right? It was amazing. First of all, I didn't know I was doing it till the day I did it.
You're lying.
I booked it and then didn't hear anything for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became, my manager was like, we might have to go somewhere else because of the whole Fallon thing that's about to happen. And I'm like, okay. So I thought I was going away.
Yeah.
And then I was having one of those my career's not going anywhere days, you know? And I went on a run. And I live down in Long Beach. I don't live anywhere near Burbank where they used to shoot the show. And
Of course.
And I get a call from my manager, and he says, can you do the Tonight Show today? First of all,
Tonight Show today?
today, also, just tell me I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go, nah, not today.
I can do it tonight, though.
I got to
not
pick
today.
the kids up from school. you know?
Yeah.
He said, can you do the Tonight Show? I says, yeah. He goes, then the car's picking you up in 45 minutes.
Whoa.
Who says that?
And I was
Jeez. You're drenched
I
in
was
sweat.
sweating, didn't shave.
Call my brother. We need to write.
Called
We
David,
need to write.
Another
Car shows up,
emergency.
You're sweating. The car's like,
Call the team.
this guy's super nervous.
Actually,
He's
my
sweating.
son, who was 18 at the time, was there, and I hung the phone up and I looked at him. I go, "Do you want to go to the Tonight Show?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "All right, get ready. We're getting picked up soon."
45 minutes.
Yep. So car picks me up, takes me out there, and it was to say I worked on that set for 6 months, so I just felt ready.
Yeah.
Wasn't nervous.
You,
Stand up.
you worked on set, meaning what?
That 4.5
you
minutes
worked on that
was
set.
approved.
Yeah.
Oh,
that set. I thought you meant like on set with Jay Leno. I was like, you were on set for 6 months?
no, I worked on the set that the
Gotcha. Yeah.
and so I got there and I got there early. They had the car pick me up pretty early just in case of traffic and stuff, and I was there on time. And then Jay showed up, and he walks into my dressing room. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Great." And he asked
That's
the
pretty
guy.
good impression, too.
Yeah, I do a good Jay. He goes, "Did you show Jason his mark?" And the guy in the room goes, "No, I'll show him right now." And Jay goes, "No, I'll show him." So he takes me out onto the stage. He goes, "That's your mark." Anyways, so how's everything going? How's the comedy? Like, we just started talking comedy for like a half hour.
Of course, yeah.
And it was amazing. And then other guests that night.
Did you meet him before that?
Never met him before.
Okay, first time.
Yeah. And then the other guests, Paula Patton, Justin Timberlake. So a bunch of people watched that episode.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool white and half white
Yeah.
lineup.
It was very Caucasian. It was
Caucasity.
Paula Patton's half white?
I don't know.
Not in
Yeah,
my
she's
book.
mixed.
All right, go ahead.
She was
She looked all black to me.
she looked high as a kite to me.
Yeah, that's what happens.
We were on set and Justin Timberlake and I, he's a funny guy. We got along immediately. And he's like, "You from Long Beach?" I'm my ex-girlfriend.
He's like, "I got this box. You want to look inside of it?"
Yeah, right. And we tried getting her into the conversation. We tried getting Paula Patton, and just eyes almost shut, just smiling at us the whole time.
Yeah.
We're like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah, man.
Was that right around the time the Robin Thicke cheated on her or no?
I have no idea.
Maybe she was going through that.
Who knows?
Stuff happens, man. This business is crazy. Trying to balance and do regular life and entertainment.
Come on.
Justin Timberlake.
Get
Like,
a
"You're from
thicker
Long Beach?"
skin, lady. What'd you say? Get a thicker skin, lady.
Right.
Justin was like, "I like Long Beach. I fucked 4,800 girls from Long Beach."
Yeah. His ex-girlfriend, he says, was from Long Beach, and it was, Cameron Diaz. She grew up in Long Beach. And,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I actually like Long Beach, man. I
love
started
it.
doing comedy out here in LA you remember Rhythm Lounge that was on
Yes.
Pine Street?
Yep.
So I used to work at a place called The Designery down there, and I was an accountant. And there was a little spot right down the street, and this guy was like, "We're looking for a comedian." And I really found my voice in LA at that spot because they had a comedy night.
Rhythm Lounge. Man,
Rhythm Lounge.
when I was a kid, there was a place on Pine upstairs, and it was called Birdland West,
Yeah?
named after Birdland in New York. And every Thursday night, they had a comedy night.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my buddies would go. And every Thursday night, the lineup was Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx,
Are you serious?
Damon Wayans, David Allen Greer, all these dudes who are like huge now.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
On a Thursday night in Long Beach, working stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what that room was for me. It was Long Beach is a very special place for me.
And Ricky Harris
Yeah.
was the host.
Yep. Do you know who Ricky Harris is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I never met him, though.
Yeah, he passed away like 2 years ago.
Passed away like the other day.
He was there
like
a
a couple
lot.
months ago.
No, it was like 2 years
and
ago.
TK Kirkland was also hosting it.
TK Kirkland. Dude, TK Kirkland I never met, and he's the
hosted
one
it.
that got me on
He actually
BET.
hosted it every Thursday, yeah.
He got me on BET. Someone at the Improv showed him my tape, and then TK booked me on it, and then I met him at the taping for
Yeah?
BET. I'm like, "Thanks, man." And I looked him up. He's like, "This guy's great."
Yeah, he's like a legend. He's
Yeah.
Who raised you?
Who raised you?
Love that.
Right, man. So either one of you prefer being home or you prefer traveling? 'Cause I know some cats love the road. Like, 'cause I know you do a lot of jokes about being on the plane. Like, you care about being?
I love being if they put me up in a nice hotel.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just get away from your family?
Get a break.
Yeah,
A little bit of break from not just my family, but reality.
Yeah.
Because then you get home. Whenever I come home from the road, I call it re-entry. You know how when the space shuttle re-enters the atmosphere and everything's chaos,
on fire?
and it
Yeah.
catches on fire, and
Yeah.
it's just insane. That's what I call coming home from the road. I call it re-entry because now it's back to the mortgage bills.
Take the trash out.
You know what I mean? It's back.
In Seattle, I got to stand over. You gonna make me take some trash out?
Yeah, right?
Fine, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Okay. But in Seattle, no.
I love being on the road, but I also get homesick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I add both. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I love being on the road because it's like what I always wanted to do, and it's cool to go like to a different place and perform for people, especially when it's like a new city,
Yeah.
and everything. But especially now because my daughter's so young, and like I miss my daughter. Now if I'm gone for like I used to be gone for stretches, and I was
Yeah.
like, whatever, got my girl back home waiting for me. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I go, this is good for us, separation, makes the heart grow fonder. But now, like, if I'm gone for like 3 days, I just feel like I'm missing out on so much with my daughter. But also, it's the same thing. Like, it's both. I love being home, but I also love being on the road and being like, I'm out here.
That's one of the main reasons I waited till I was older to do stand up because I had kids.
So
young
as you
and
graduated, you're like, I'm gone.
right. Well, my father was entertaining, and from 0 to 8 years old, I rarely saw him because he was on the road touring.
Yeah.
And he missed a lot of things. He missed first steps. He missed first word. I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
So I didn't start stand-up until my kids were 11 and 16.
I think it's cool to do stuff later, like get married later and start doing entertainment later. Because again, you kind of remind me of Tony Baker. Tony Baker started later too, but I feel like your mind is more developed. You know what you want to talk about.
You're who you are.
Fast,
People always say to you, you got to find your voice.
Yeah.
When you're a 35-year-old dude, you're who you are.
You're pretty clear about who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about traveling though. Like I did 100 colleges in 1 year and it was awesome, made a lot of money, but my life fell apart. And I'm like, this freaking sucks.
Oh, the year I did like 100 some colleges in a year, I made the most money I've ever made.
Absolutely.
I was the most depressed I've ever been.
Right.
Because you realize, like, first off, I'd look at my schedule and go, oh, it's going to be 8 days before I get to sleep in a bed for a night.
Yep.
All my sleep is going to be, 90 minutes on this plane and whatever. Like I was taking 2 to 3, sometimes 4 flights a day.
Yep.
I was driving like anywhere from
4 to 5 hours.
2 to 8 hours a day.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, and then the only people you really talk to were the crowd, but that's not like a real conversation.
Yeah.
And then airport people, if you had to talk to them, like just scanning your
I feel
thing.
we should do a documentary on this.
Hotel people, that was it. It was all just like this weird.
I was on
mindless-
suicide watch, man, because I remember like after I did this show, I had this run in Texas. I forgot what day it was. I forgot what color my rental car was. I couldn't remember. I looked at the hotel and I was like, I don't even know what room or floor.
Dude, the rental car,
it all ran together.
The rental car thing is funny because you get a different rental car in different state. I forget what state I was in, right? Like you just said. And I remember walking out to parking lots after the show and just being like, I have like a neon green Scion, right? And I'm like, oh no, I have a blue Honda. Like I was so confused. I remember I went to the airport one day and I just knew I was on Delta, did not know where I was flying. So I just swiped my credit card and it goes Little Rock, Arkansas. At this time, I'm like, sounds right. And I just like, sure. And I went to, I couldn't remember where I was going.
And I honestly feel like I had a moment where I have big heart and compassion for people who are on drugs and they do entertainment. Because I had a moment of, in this hotel room, I don't remember what day it was, and I don't mess with college girls at all. I'm like, I went back to my hotel room and I was like, I feel lonely as heck. My friends stopped calling me. You date somebody, by the time you get back home, they with somebody else because you've been going so long. Right. And I'm sitting in the shower crying like, God, like, look, man, I'm a grown man. I've never been in love before. This is like before, like right around the time we got cool. And I was like, I'm a grown man. I've never been in love before, chasing this money. And I was like, I feel like God was like, if you had this exact same moment and you were where you thought you want to be, how would you fill that hole? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it like scared the mess out of me. And I was like, man, I need to try love for, because you're chasing this career, you don't think about it.
I need to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I need to make some adjustments. Yeah.
The one-nighter thing, I don't think I can ever get like the show one night here, next night here, next day. I don't mind when you're doing a club for the weekend on Thursday because you're staying in the same room. Especially, I'm lucky I tour with friends, like really good friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're close, but like.
Yeah, you got an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Going around with buddies.
Yeah, I got lucky with that one.
I just did a loony bin for the first time
in Arkansas.
The one I did was in Oklahoma City.
Okay,
but they have one in Arkansas. There's another in Oklahoma. There's like 3 or 4 of them, right? And so the first time I did one, and it's the first time since 2007 that I stayed in a comedian condo with another comic.
How was that?
It was actually a house though, so it wasn't bad. But and the guy was really nice. Yeah, it's really awkward at first because it's like you're just cohabitating with some person you'd never met.
Strangers, yeah.
But this guy was cool. This guy Andrew Rivers he's a Seattle guy, super nice guy. We got along great.
Yeah.
But I was just like, fuck, dude, I'm back at a comedian condo thing.
Right.
But
a lot of companies are going to that now. Like if you do the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, for example, they always put you up downtown in this really nice house. They just bought a condo.
Yeah.
So now we're in a condo, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's new. It's got amenities. It's
big difference between
water, heat, sheets.
But you go to the Comedy Store condo in La Jolla before they remodeled it was a nightmare. Like I always
down there.
I always had I always psychologically thought I think I'm getting bed bugs. I think I'm getting eaten
start
alive
itching for no reason.
in this bed.
You haven't even sat down
start
yet.
Getting those
yeah.
But they've remodeled the entire thing. It's like brand new space now and all that. But before it was like, ooh.
You know what's funny when
last time I headlined down there, they were remodeling it, and they apologized. They're like, "We're so sorry, but you can't stay in the condo. We're going to put you in a hotel." And I'm like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's do that all the time.
Thank you.
You ever do Crackers? You ever do Indianapolis?
No.
Crackers used to have a comedian condo as a house, but it was like, you're just like sleeping. You feel like they're not cleaning these sheets the right way and stuff. And then I remember something happened and they put me up at the Marriott the next time I was there at the Residence Inn. And the owner goes, "Hey, do you like the hotel or the condo better? Because we're thinking about maybe sticking with the hotel because a lot of comics say they like it." I'm like, "I like the hotel way better. Like, it's
Yeah.
not even close. I'm at a Marriott. There's like breakfast. There's nice sheets. I'm not sleeping in somebody else's jizz. Like, this is way better, you know?
The sheets aren't crunchy.
Yeah. I got
The Comedy Store, some of these comedy condos, there's like Coke in the drawers.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
yeah,
they're not
gross.
cleaning shit.
Yeah, and there used to be like an old road thing, like don't use the ice trays because comics would like jizz in them to fucking mess with the next week's comics. I'm like, that's a fun prank.
That's
Fucking
Thank God I like room temperature water. That's terrible. That's freaking terrible, man.
that's ridiculous.
I got bed bugs at one nighter once when and it was funny because it was like
How do you get rid of it?
This is what's funny. I thought it was I thought it was an STD. And I remember I went to the doctor and I went to this free clinic in like downtown LA.
Yeah.
And that doctor goes, yeah, it's crabs. And I'm like, that's an STD. I go, how'd I get that? And they're like, from sex. And I go, and I had a very busy month. I was very promiscuous that month. So it was like, I remember it was multiple, there's a lot of different options of who it could have been.
Yeah.
But the last girl was a girl that I was like kind of sort of starting to see. And she was really cool. I really liked this girl. And
You'll never look at the same. It wasn't even her fault.
So I asked, I go, hey, like, here's like the order of events for my January.
Here's my itinerary.
Yeah. And I said, was it that last person? Because there was like a gap. And this doctor told me at the free clinic goes, yeah. And I go, so it's for sure that person because I'm going to go like confront this person for giving me an STD. And they're like, yeah, it's for sure that person. I go tell this girl, I'm like, hey, Shelby, I call her. And she's like, what's up? I'm like, I think you know what's up. She's like, what? And I go, you gave me crabs. I was
These
like,
crabs is what's up.
I was pissed, right? She goes, I don't have crabs. And I go, oh, really?
Oops.
I think you need to get checked. She goes, come to the doctor with me. We go to a real doctor, her doctor, and then I'm just out there confident, just like she owes me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like she gave me crabs.
You got some nerve. You hear me?
Her doctor. See,
You got some nerve,
I
young
was
lady.
such an idiot. And then her doctor comes out and goes, hey, Geoff, do you want to come in for a second? And I was like, yeah, let's do this.
do I want
Showdown
Let's
time.
have this conversation.
Exactly. And I go in and she goes, so Shelby does not have crabs. And I was like, what'd you just say?
Yeah.
And then she's like,
Because you just cured her right now, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You're in cahoots.
exactly. That's what I thought.
Where's the shampoo?
She goes, can I see, do you mind if I check you out? And I go, yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. She looks at me and she goes, you don't have crabs either. She's like, this is not an STD. She goes, this is it's mites. She goes, did you sleep in like a dirty hotel room or something? And I'm like,
Every night.
who told you? You checked my website?
yeah.
And so like me and that girl was, she was like, you accused me of giving you an STD? She's like, we're done. I was like, oh, okay. I
Good
guess
call.
That does make sense.
Good call.
That was very
Freaking
accusatory.
hilarious. And that being said, that is the end of our Comedy Pop-Up
my goodness.
podcast show. So listen, before we wrap up, man, we got this little segment I like to do where I ask you questions. You can answer in any order. There's no right or wrong answer. It's really cool. Again, we got my man Jason Collins and Geoff Keefe in the studio, man. So listen, I pride myself on this show like not doing small talk. I don't like small talk. That's our whole life. Hey, you going up? No, you're not performing? Okay, cool. Good to see you. That's our whole life. But I actually like asking real questions. So first question. If you could do coffee with anybody, one person dead or alive, who would it be?
Do you have an answer first? I don't know. Dead coffee? Dead, like someone I knew or someone I didn't
Doesn't
know?
matter. It could be anybody. Famous.
So I could
not
be
famous,
like-
relative, anybody.
My maybe my grandpa Sam I never met because he died right before I was born.
Yeah.
See what he was like. I don't know. Should I have said Ben Franklin or something?
Yes. What are you thinking? I was
Oh,
like,
honest
Ben Franklin. Say Ben Franklin.
Hitler
Honest
so I
Abe?
could kill
I don't
him?
know.
I don't know.
My dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to have a sit down with Dad now.
Yeah.
Show him your Would you bring your Tonight Show
He
set?
didn't get to see anything.
Yeah.
I did. That would be cool.
I'm sure he'd be really proud of you, man.
Yeah, I think he
The
would.
Tonight Show
Yeah.
set for sure.
Yeah.
You show him on your smartphone. He's like, "What is this phone thing?"
What is this thing?
So you can make water in a bottle now? That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's dope, man. Who would I like to? I would always say Coretta Scott King, man. For some reason, I just feel like she's so dope. And Dr. King, he impact this world in such a way that, like, to tell a woman you have this dream and you don't have all the details to it, and she ride with you anywhere, I just think it's a special thing. You know, 'cause we all are on our own journey, but to tell your wife, hey, look, I'm going to travel a lot. Might meet some harlots on this road. And I don't know when I'm getting my next check. You know what I'm saying? You want to ride with me?
Do you ever watch his full "I Have a Dream" speech?
I think I saw it like a long time ago.
Because the whole thing, you know, the good parts that everybody knows about,
Yeah.
like it didn't get good until like I think 8 or 10 minutes in or something.
really? Yeah.
And like everyone, it was kind of just like a whatever speech, and then it got like super good. All the stuff that we always
You
hear.
found a stride?
Yeah. So I always think it's funny.
It
It's
didn't
like
become a hit
who-
till after he passed away, by the way. You know that, right?
Of course. Yeah. That's how it happens. Even with comedy.
He turned the crowd. You know what I mean?
yeah.
People are like, "This guy's bombing," and then he was like, "No, I got some bangers coming up."
He brought it home. He brought it home. All right. Let's see. Oh, what's one thing you learned about yourself from your last relationship?
Well, technically, my
Besides
last
the crab thing.
No, that was a long time ago.
Just playing.
My last real relationship before my wife was my wife because we broke up for a while. So I went to therapy actually and the lady told me
Because your wife convinced you it was all you.
no. I was about some other thing. Remember when the Laugh Factory was giving like free therapy sessions?
Definitely.
I think Ida Rodriguez was like, do it. And I was like, all right. So I went to that lady for a little bit. She told me the best thing ever was because what we do, like, you know, when you're dating women, like they can get like real jealous, and you know, there's all these women coming to you sometimes after shows, and you're out of town a lot, and it's not easy like to date us. And my ex from Miami and everything, she was like real, with good reason though, like very accusatory and jealous and stuff. I didn't really make it easy on her.
Yeah.
But then she would also accuse me of shit I wasn't doing. And then so when Chrissy, my wife, used to be like that before we got married and everything, before we started dating again and got engaged and all that, and the therapist lady told me, she goes, "You got to stop apologizing for things you're not doing." And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I never thought of that. Mm-hmm. And that like changed my life. She's like, don't, like, why even engage in any argument about this? And I go, okay, cool.
So you learned you were a pussy.
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Yes. 100%. She used a euphemism, but
Puss revelation.
I knew I was a pussy in other ways. I just didn't realize in this way.
Yeah. But that way,
It sucks when you find out in every way.
across the board.
Last
What about you?
relationship
Yeah,
is
last relationship.
my only one. I've been in the same relationship for many, many years.
It's all good.
So it's my last. I've learned about myself
Yeah.
that I could be, if I'm being brutally honest, that I could be pretty selfish.
Yeah.
That I could be a pretty selfish guy, and then I got to work on that. It's always about, a lot of it is about my comfort zone and all that stuff. And I was a kid when I got into this relationship. I mean,
You got married like in high school or college or something?
Not married, but together for a long time.
Yeah.
Since I was, teenager.
Yeah.
And, we're different people now.
Uh-huh.
We're both over, she's 45, I'm 47. And
Does she get the career too?
she's getting
still
better.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's always been, what the hell are you doing? Because I went from when I was in my 20s, I was acting like a dude in his 40s. I was coaching Little League and running a business and raising kids. And then all of a sudden at 35, I went, okay, my turn, kind of a thing. And that was very selfish. But, you got to follow your dream. And,
Right, you can't sit on that.
Because the thing is, if I'm not happy, everybody around me isn't going to be happy.
Yeah, you're not
either.
good
And
to
I'm
anybody,
I'm
yeah.
not easy to be around. But I have learned that I can be a pretty selfish dude. And but I'm working on it.
And how do you fix that? Because I feel like for men, we only fix that when we step on a landmine.
Right. And
Which happens every day.
Oh man, here's the thing. I've also learned the hard way several times. I can't tell you how many landmines I've stepped on. I'm surprised I still have legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens,
Still
man.
working on it.
It's still dope. And then last question, man. What advice would you give somebody who wants to do stand-up?
Oh, I always tell people if they ask me, because people, especially when you do colleges and stuff, people like email you like, hey, I want to do stand-up. What should I do? I would just say, be original, be funny, work hard, be nice to everybody, and don't listen to any advice, including mine I just gave you if you don't want to.
Right. What about you?
Be honest. Don't make shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about what you think is funny. Don't concern yourself with what other people are going to think is funny. And if you think it's funny and you 100% believe that it's funny, I feel like the audience has no choice but to get on board. But just be honest. Don't do that. I was walking down the street the other day and you know what I mean? Just talk about real stuff.
Trying to come up with comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I got funny when I started talking about stuff I really enjoyed talking about or stuff that I was
Personal
invested in.
stuff.
Yeah.
Personal.
And both of you are really good at that, which is really cool.
Dude, we were
man.
just talking on the way up. We won't say the guy's name, but there's a guy who, just to get a joke out, says, the guy lives in LA, and he goes, every time I go to a bar, he says every time.
Yeah.
He goes, there's always this is a white guy. He goes, there's always some racist white guy who wants to come up to me and talk to me about like black people and how much he hates. It's like that happens to you every time you go to a bar
Every
in LA.
single time.
In LA,
Yeah.
Like, that's not happening
100%
every
a
time.
made up joke.
I want to go to a bar with them and just be like, I'm
In
just
LA.
waiting for these Klan members in LA to show up.
Jeff, I don't know what's going on tonight. Usually it happens, but for some reason everybody in here is pretty
not
cool.
here.
He looks at me, he goes, "You must be the racist white guy, Jeff. What do you want to get off your chest?"
You should have said, what is it like being an insider? So that being said, man, I'm your host, comedian Ron G, with another episode of Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, man. This comedy podcast where we don't small talk. I got my man Geoff in the building and Jason in the building, and I'm so sleepy and hungry right now, but we had a great show, man. If you don't mind, please follow us at Comedy Pop-Up on everything. It's Comedy Pop-Up Podcast?
At Comedy Pop-Up.
At Comedy Pop-Up on everything, and please follow me at Comedy Pop-Up, and then also follow me, Comedian Ron G, on everything. Comedian RONG. And we don't small talk. Thank you very much. Yeah. Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, where we don't small talk at all.